Hi Aries, it's Nicole from Outer Inner Space, and in this video we're going to be talking about your chart ruler and some of the energetic qualities of your chart ruler. Because the way I see it is that because your ascendant sets up your houses for your whole natal chart, the chart ruler qualities kind of set this base tone frequency, and when you're feeling out of sorts or that you're spiraling in your own energy field, tuning back into the qualities of your chart ruler, which for you guys is Mars, it can help you really find a place of equilibrium and just coming back to a vibration that's actually more true for you. And from that place, we can direct our energy in a more effective way, and we're not being loose with our energy spends, so to speak. It also gives us an indication about timing and just the basic frequency that we have to work with in this lifetime. So the first thing I would say would be to have a look to where Mars is in your chart, because as your chart ruler, it does hold like a really significant influence. So looking at the house placement and the sign that it's in, and then taking the moment to meditate on those qualities, as well as what I'm saying in this video, and making your own conclusions and extrapolating on the ideas can really give you some excellent insight into your own energy and what you have to work with in this lifetime. So Mars and Aries energy is the first house, so that is all about the I am presence. So to me, I see this as people as clusters of energy, and with Mars and the I am presence, the Aries energy, it is about how you are basically manifest here on Earth. And so as an Aries Ascendant, you've come here with this incredible power, Mars infused power and leadership qualities and assertiveness in a sense, that gives you this very dynamic energy field to work with. And when you understand more of your energy field by looking at your chart ruler and all your other natal placements and any other form of energetics, that really helps you know yourself. And when you know yourself and what you value and what really matters to you here in this lifetime, and it's not going to be all the things, it's going to be a set of very specific things to you, you can really direct that powerful energy in a way that enables you to go straight towards what you want. So it's about understanding that you can modulate where you're putting your energy and how you're reacting and how you're acting to yourself, and any blocks that you kind of come across. And when you learn how to do that, and I'll talk about some ideas that you can implement in this video, then it kind of reduces that level of frustration, or at least you can read it in a way that's actually more productive. So Mars is the body, and I have Moon in the first house, so I kind of understand this energy pretty well. And I also have a lot of Scorpio energy, Scorpio Sun, Mars, Mercury and Pluto in my 10th house. So I get the Mars energy, and I get how it can be when you are so empowered and your energy, like your insides are just drawn to go towards something. And when you find that you're up against blockages or, external stimuli that kind of like prevents you from getting to where you want to go, there is this it really can throw you off, because it just doesn't make sense, because you know what you want, you know how to get there, but there's all this other stuff in the way, and that's just life really. But it's about learning how to modulate that, any potential blockages that you have on the inside, and learning to work through them so that your outer experience is kind of aligned in good timing, and you're not just bouncing off the walls, so to speak. What I found really cool actually is Mars, the symbol of Mars, as well as being the symbol of masculine energy, is actually also a symbol used in ancient times for alchemy. And so what I see this as with Mars as your chart ruler is, if you can work with your body and your body work, doing body work, whether on your own or with a professional in any kind of body work, acupuncture, massage, seeing a chiro, a physio, any kind of other alternative measures, and clearing these energy blocks and creating alignment and creating flow within you, that creates a refined energy field. So doing stuff like yoga and that kind of thing opens up these channels. And when you're understanding that your body is key, like it's a messaging system. So if you get feelings like anxiety, like tense muscles in when you think about certain places or people, or if you go somewhere and you get this feeling that this isn't right, and that's expressed through your body, whether your lower back gets tense or you start shaking or anything like that, it's so important for you as a Mars ruled person to listen to these messages, because the conversation that your body has with you, with your mind, when you can open that channel and perceive these messages, receive these messages, and react to the messages, or respond rather, I should say, to the messages, it really gives you a whole plethora of information that you can use to realign your path. So understanding that your body is a resonance indicator or a resonance transmitter, like I've got in this little diagram where I've got the little man and his energy field around him. This is basically what you're working with all the time. And the more you can purify that energy by processing any internal blocks, any anger, instead of holding it within, because we're never really taught how to deal and process our energy. We're just taught, like, you know, how to move on or not say anything, or that anger in itself is not a emotion that is really, it's useful, but we're taught that if you're an angry person, like there's something wrong with you don't know how to deal with it. But it's a process of just understanding that most of us aren't taught how to deal with this and how to work with our body in a way that is productive, because as a Aries Ascendant, your energy field is everything. Like it's going to set, well, for everyone really, that understanding the dynamics is so key. Stuff like when you are feeling out of sorts or angry or hyped up or like blocked, or that you're not getting what you want, it's so important for you to tune into the messages of the body, and you'll transmute that energy with movement. So doing yoga, going on a walk, a run, dancing, any sports basically. But the transmutation comes through moving the body. It's not necessarily, this is just talking about the chart ruler as like a base tone frequency, but just coming back to the fact that if you are in a heightened emotional frame of mind, moving and transmuting through movement is going to be such a productive way to alchemize the energy. And when you do that, a whole nother level of power grows, because how I see it is we're born with these incredible gifts, but throughout our childhood, throughout social conditioning, we forget and we're not really taught how to develop them. And so you need to give yourself the freedom to be in your own energy field and feel what you feel. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with the range of emotions that you feel. It's nothing wrong to be triggered by anything. That's completely normal. There's nothing wrong with having a strong emotional reaction to something. That's completely normal, but it's how you deal with that, and the difference between being reactive and being responsive. And it's natural to react because we're not taught how to deal with this kind of stuff, but it's about knowing that you can actually learn how to modulate strong emotions and alchemize them into something that's more productive. Because every time you do that, it's like a muscle. Every time you, or any kind of skill really, anytime you practice, you grow and you become an even stronger energy field. And then when you do that, like compounded day to day, then when it does come to the right timing to go out and get what you want and go after what your desires are, then the potency of your intention is amplified because you've purified that field. And that can create this amazing fuel to go towards things with a refined intention, so you're not wasting energy, basically. Because as a Mars-ruled person, the passion and the desire is so strong, and you could say it's quite extreme. So it goes up to the other level of the spectrum when things aren't working out, that it can be quite painful, like it can physically hurt your body. Your physiological response to that is extremely potent. So it's about understanding the energy field and not moving for the sake of movement, but giving yourself the time to receive the messages and understand the messages and create that relationship with those sensations to learn what it is that they're saying, because it's a conversation that you have with your body. And when that is worked on, there's so much more clarity. A Mars ruled person, often the drive it's like a magnetic pull. It's not necessarily a paragraph of intention. It's a very field oriented thing. So if you take a moment right now and take a deep breath into your body, feeling if there is tension in your shoulders or in your sacral center, in your knees, in your ankles, or in your low back. Feeling where the breath gets blocked or where it doesn't travel to is showing you where the blocks are, and that's stored energy. And so going back to that alchemy, coming back to the root of why this is here, what this message is trying to tell you, and then using movement to break up those blocks. Because what it is a connection, like a neural connection of past experiences, which we draw upon. However, when we're basing all our future desires or our future goals on past experiences, we're limiting ourselves. And if there's one thing a Mars person doesn't want, is any limitations. So being able to break up those limitations that exist within the body enables us to open up to expansive opportunities in our physical world, essentially. And when that happens, we're not just moving for the sake of moving, we're going after what we want, even if it is modulated in the sense, if we go back to that first slide, with that black line underneath, we've got how things really are, and then the Mars energy on top is how your energy is operating. So it's like understanding that when there are those times when the path forward is blocked, we're not just in a static energy range, but we are understanding that that's just life, and that's the process, and that's what we're here to learn, is how to work with that energy and not being resistant to it. So for you guys, as a Aries Ascendant, that means you've got either all of your fourth house in Cancer, at least part of it, taking that time in those points where things aren't, where the path isn't open exactly in the way that we would want it for us to go towards what we want. Using that Cancer fourth house energy and being in our own energy field, completely separate to any influence from any other energetics. And that isn't just people, but also conversation, listening to anyone else's opinion on what we should be doing. It really is about closing off and going internal, like the crab in our own space, and feeling what it is that is occurring in our energy field, whether it's repeating thoughts or a static feeling in the body or this swirling of emotion around us, and giving ourselves space for that to exist without trying to push it away or suppress it. That can be so healing for you, because when you do suppress the anger or the frustration, that just gets stored in the body because it's not processed. And the whole thing about this video is saying that we need to learn how to process what's happening so that we don't create more blocks in the body. So in that space, you might be operating in high beta, which is like a high state of stress, which is frustration essentially. It's like the fastest brainwave, and that's happening at the front of the mind, the neocortex. But from that place, we're not open to divine inspiration or new ideas which can help us break through the problems that we're facing. And it's all based on the past, on what we've already experienced, and there's nothing new there that can help us. But what we need to do in those times is to take a deep breath and let the body understand that it's safe and that it's also not in danger. It's not at risk at not getting what it wants. It's just a matter of timing. And when we can come back to those alpha waves, which is a slower brainwave, it's a more creative and imaginative brainwave. And this can come through doing things like running or walking fast or dancing or even singing or any kind of vibrational variance to break up the pattern. Then the new ideas and the new inspiration can come through, and that enables us to redirect the energy essentially. So it's about honoring the slow wave and your creative emotional core, because as a fourth house Cancer, you are a deeply emotional person, but it's about realizing that there is the balance between the yin and the yang. So I would say that Aries and the first house energy is quite yang energy, which is about being active in the physical world and going exactly after what you want, but also realizing that with the fourth house Cancer energy in this example, that we can't go after what we want if our intentions aren't grounded or stable or clear within ourselves. And tuning into that Cancer energy enables us to really refocus on the light, on what that actually matters to us. And in addition to that, as a Aries Ascendant, you have Pisces in the 12th house, and that again is Yin energy, and that is a massive, with your 12th house having Pisces there, that's a super intuitive, very, very powerful placement. And so it's just essentially about understanding that your energy field is created from your psyche, your subconscious, and opening up to that and realizing that it's the balance between the world of form and the unseen realm. And when that balance is struck, then when it comes down to executing in the physical, which is what Aries wants to do, things just happen smoother and you come across less resistance because the action is calculated in a sense. And like I said, with Aries, it's like a magnetized pull to what you want, so you know it without really knowing how, and that comes from all your water houses, so Cancer, 4th house, Scorpio, 8th house, Pisces, 12th house. That is extremely psychic information, and it's just about not overlooking the potency of that Yin energy. And when we can tune into that kind of stuff, slowing down the body and allowing that alchemy process to take place, when we do take that time to fall into the slower brainwaves, then we get clearer, and from that place, amazing, magical things can happen. And the last thing I'll say is that as a Aries Ascendant, you are here in this lifetime because you are absolutely destined to get what you want. And so becoming clear on that is so key. Like if you're feeling a bit confused about where you should be by now, or where you feel like others think you should be, taking the time to be in your own energy field, completely away from the ideas of other people, is really important, because what you want is something that comes from deep within you, from this center part of your core, and it cannot be dictated by anyone else. And going after things where it's kind of a conditioned goal, whether from parents or your environment, anything like that, you're going to come up against heaps of frustration because it's not true to what you want. So taking that time to become clear on that kind of thing, studying your natal chart, any kind of other energetic typing, so to speak, like human design, that kind of thing, can really help you get to know you. And when you know yourself, then you know what you want to go towards. Another thing that I would suggest is doing a second house valuation, and I have some information about this on my website, and I'll put the link to that below. But understanding your second house and your values can really help you determine what it is that is worth your incredibly potent and incredibly powerful energy. So Aries, I'm going to leave this here, but there's more information about self-healing and energy healing on my website, and I hope you found some value in this, and I'm wishing you well.